25% of women are 25% of women have anxiety. 15% of women have depression. Over the course of a lifetime, 30% of women will have depression at some point. Women are 2 to 3 times more likely to have mental illness than men in all mental illness and psychological illnesses based in neurosis. Okay. 1 out of every 3 women have a clinical mental illness. 1 out of every 4 women, which is 25%, are on psychological medication. And 50% of women are at extremely high risk from being diagnosed with mental illness. Okay? So women need to, before they get in a relationship, well before they get in a relationship, it's my advice that all women, see a therapist.
Yeah.
Go see a therapist. Sit down with a therapist. Sit down with a therapist. I read a statistic the other day in clinical literature saying that over 50% of women with mental illnesses don't seek therapy. And in all honesty, like I said, women should engage in therapy before they get in a relationship with a man. Okay, before. And my advice is to see a male therapist. Women should be seeing a male therapist, not a female therapist, because first of all, a therapist tends to engage in what is called unconditional positive regard, which I don't believe is extremely helpful all the time in therapy. B.F. Skinner had a lot of criticism of Carl Rogers when it came to unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard has become the gold standard in therapy, which is when the therapist basically agrees with you on most of your issues and problems, because the advice of mostly the tactic of a therapist is not so much to give you advice, but to try to help you find yourself and steer you in the right direction. And I'd like the focus of a behavioralist more than a psychologist, because a behavioralist actually says, no, we need to fix this behavior. You need to do this in order to fix this. Psychologists typically don't like to do that. But women need to see therapists before you get in a relationship with a man, and see a male therapist. Why a male therapist? Because women tend to co-ruminate, and a female therapist with a female client will typically co-ruminate and use too much unconditional positive regard, and you can get a more objective response from a male therapist, since your goal is to work on your mental health so that eventually you can get in a great relationship with a man, especially if you never had a father, you have problems with your father, and or you just want to see male professional advice before you get in a relationship with a man. Women, I believe all women need to do this, and it's not being done.